This is a problem on the homework that is due tomorrow. I want to model this. We did not get a chance to do this on Tuesday, and I said I would come back to it. I want to model that right now. Okay. So what we have here is we have a graph, and it says using the transformations shown to the right, in this case they're below, identify the locations of, you have a pass for me, Marvin? Thank you. Locations of the relative extrema, max and min, along with their type, maximum or minimum. So, okay, if we assume this graph to be f of x, king of clubs, what are the maxima in this case, king of clubs? You have it on your sheet, on the homework that's due Friday. A, B, and C, B. Very good. So the f of x has a max of A, comma, B, and C, comma, B. Now, we're also talking about relative max and relative min. So the relative min is going to be right here at 0D. And by relative, we just mean in this interval. We have our relative min at 0D. Questions on this? Everybody should have this problem on at their desk, on the homework that's due Friday on the desk. Okay. So the question now we have to ask ourselves is on this new function j of x, which is equal to 2 times f of negative x plus 5, what are the max and min? So, if I think about it, the j of x function has 3 transformations. First one, queen of clubs. Tell us one transformation on the j of x function, queen of clubs. I go left 5, absolutely. Now, on Tuesday we learned reset. I forgot plus 1, thank you. Now, on Tuesday, we learned a formula that was helpful in transforming the points. Does anybody remember that formula, Jasmine?
The x value will be x minus c over b.
Okay, good.
A times y.
Yep.
Plus b.
Okay. Very good. Very good. So, Queen of Spades, Kiara said that we are moving left 5. Which letter is the 5, Queen of Spades? Spades.
Spades. It looks like upside down.
I'm sure people are now going to learn their cards, as we talked about last week. Jenny now knows her card. She'll never forget it.
You put it on the board.
So, Jenny, which letter is the 5? Is it C, B, A, D? C. Very good. Very good. Okay, 2 more transformations have occurred here. 10 of diamonds. Tell us one more. Fabricio, can you tell us another one?
It has a horizontal flip.
Horizontal flip. Okay. I hesitate to use horizontal flip. Last week I said we can call it certainly horizontal. Very good. Right? No. So flip and reflection are both good. Reflection. So reflection, and then we wanted to say, is it over the x or y axis, Marvin?
Y.
over the y-axis. If the x values are changing, if the x value is a reflection over the x-axis, excuse me, over the y-axis, if the x values are changing, that means I'm going from an x value of like 10 to negative 10. I'm going over the y-axis. That's if there's a negative. Now, which letter, 9 of spades, which letter is the negative 1? Which letter, 9 of spades, is the negative 1? Liz, that's you? No. 9 of spades? That's you, Jed.
It's
A. Liz, agree, disagree? Agree? Ay, ay, ay. Jaylene. D. Oh, boy. Jose Oliva.
I thought it was like A, B, C, D from left to right.
I think you're right. So which letter is it?
B?
B. A, B, C, D.
Oh, B.
Right, B. B. All right. Finally, 2 more transformations. Here we're going up 1, and here this is a vertical expansion. I'm just reviewing this. I won't do this every time by 2, but I expect everybody in here can now annotate a problem like this. If you can't, I'll see you here today after school. Now, so I have identified the transformations. My next question is, okay, how do these points, like this was the maximum before. I wonder what the coordinates are of the new maximum. Or maybe this has now come down here and it's a minimum. We don't know. Let's find out. So how would I find out? Well, I started at A comma B. That's this. Let's write what the new point would look like on J of x. So the new point would be, well, A is just x minus C. C is 5 divided by negative 1. And for y, I would say y in this case is b times a is 2 plus d is 1. Let's see. Does a always go over the y-axis? Here, there is no over the y-axis or anything. This is b, by the way. This negative.
I think I just saw your life flash before my eyes.
The b value, yeah. If there's a horizontal transformation and it's a reflection, then yeah, it's going over the y-axis. Over the x-axis. Yes. So, if I'm changing x values, this affects x. The only way to change x values is to go from here to here. So I must go over the y-axis. If there had been a negative out here, I'm changing y values. The only way to do that is to go from here to here. So that would be over the x-axis. I was going to make a comment about yesterday's quiz, but Jeff has taken it. Expansion. Because being multiplied by 2. It's getting bigger. Stretch. Same thing. So, here's the new point A comma B. Now, I could rewrite this point C comma B. C minus 5 over negative 1, comma 2B plus 1. And the last thing we need to write now is, let's see what this 0D becomes. And then once we know all 3 of those, we can decide which are max, which are min. So let's do 0D. And so I started out at 0D. And now I'm going to go 0 minus 5. So 0 minus 5 divided by negative 1. Comma D times A, which is 2. So 2D. Plus D, plus 1. And if you want to be a little bit smart, you can simplify this. 0 minus 5 is negative 5. Negative 5 divided by negative 1 is positive 5. 2D plus 1. So here are my 3 new points on J. 1, 2, 3. Those are my 3 new points, and here were the 3 I started with on F. And now the question is, which of these are maxes and which are mins? That's all we have to ask, and then we're done. How would I know which is max and which is min? Miguel? Is the right. The one with the biggest y value is the max, and the smallest y value is the min. So which of these 3 has the biggest y value? Humberto? 5. So right here? Why? But how do I know that 2d, because I'm looking at y values, how do I know that 2d plus 1 is bigger than 2b plus 1? Okay, that's fine. Mark? So you're agreeing with him or you're going to disagree?
I think it's B.
You think it's B? What do you mean by B? These points?
Yes.
Why do you think B's are the maximum, Mark?
Because D is lower right there, and there's not a reflection over the x-axis. And so B will always be higher than D.
So that's one way to look at it. There's been no reflection. So D will always be lower than B. You have another way, Alan?
So I think it's B because
You mean these? These. So the purple there. I mean, remember, there's no B here. Like 2B plus 1. Okay, why?
to leave the line because in the graph it has 2 upward points and it only has 1 that's pointing down. So that means that the 2D plus 1 should be the maximum and the 2D plus 1 should be the minimum.
Okay, I like that. Carla?
Isn't there a reflection on the y-axis?
There is.
That's not
Right? That's right. So what they're saying is absolutely right. So I think a different way to think about it is this. B is a positive number. I have no idea what it is. 10, 20, 30, a million, some positive number. Some positive number times a positive number is a bigger positive number. Plus 1 is an even bigger positive number. So basically these are just going straight up the page. But think about 2D plus 1. D is a negative. Negative 10, negative 20, negative a million. So all I'm doing is taking a negative number and multiplying it by 2. That's still a negative number. Plus 1, okay, it's a little smaller negative, but it's still negative. So this is just going down the page. So this is still going to be the minimum. These will be the maximum. Let me take questions on that logic. Yeah, so you would write max, max, min. No. That is the answer on the homework problem. You don't have to turn this. You don't have to turn this part in. Y'all got to do K. I'm not going to do that right now. All right. Questions on this before I'm moving to something new. All right. Let's stop this, David, please, so we can upload it, and I'll tell you when to restart.